just a couple minutes, I've been given this really hard task. I was asked by the folks at SBC to talk about why local food is important, and they gave me 5 minutes. I can barely say hello in 5 minutes. I'm going to do the best I can. So you just answered that question, how is the food? The food is so fantastic. It's really beautiful food. And the sensual excellence of this food and of all local food when it's prepared well cannot be underestimated in what it is to lead a good life, to live a good life. Unlike a lot of other environmental things where doing right is portrayed as sacrifice, eating beautiful food is no sacrifice. Your life is made better with this choice. But I don't believe that's super compelling. It makes my heart warm, and I believe it's an absolute truth. But in terms of making an argument for local food, that's not the one I want you to walk away with. But since part of my job is being a teacher, I want to tell you the things that anyone in my position would tell you. There's the multiplier effect. That means money you spend at a local farm or local business supposedly can spin around and around in our valley up to 7 times. That's a great thing. So there's an economic benefit to this food. There's an ecological benefit as well. Especially in Missoula, if you look at where our local farms are, what would happen if they disappeared? What would take their places? If this was a class, I'd let you talk, but we're not going to do that. I just got that 3.5 minutes left. What would happen is we would have more suburban housing and more big box stores. Ecologically, the measure of a chunk of land, we have 2 good measures. One of them is species diversity, and the other one, right now, it's very important, carbon sequestration. Look at this beautiful vineyard. And across the street, there's some beautiful houses. But species diversity-wise, what's going on here crushes that one. And what's going on here in terms of carbon sequestration is much stronger than what's going on over there. So ecologically, there's a great benefit. So we have economy and ecology. Now we're going to get to the one that actually pulls at my heartstrings. And this one is about culture. I mentioned what happens when we lose farms, especially in Missoula, and what takes their places. The suburban housing and the big boxes. Unfortunately, when you're in those environments, and if the smoke is low, you could be anywhere. You could be in Spokane, or in Saratoga Springs, or in Jacksonville. You could be anywhere because those types of built environments don't remind you of where you are. And their sameness is dangerous because of their implied expendability. Why would you care about Missoula if it looked and felt just like Spokane? Or why would you care about Spokane if it looked and felt just like Saratoga Springs? When they're all the same, it doesn't matter to save one or the other. And their sameness does not call out to us in any way. No one will ever write a love song for Reserve Street. But local farms exist according to some very tight parameters. The first one is climatic and biological. I can tell you, I've been doing this most all my adult life. You can't break those rules. We can't farm here as if we were somewhere else. We have a really tight climate and a biology that pronounces itself strongly, as it did last week. Those are tight parameters. We can't act like we're anywhere. We have to act like we are in Missoula, Montana. The other parameter that's really tight is we have to grow and act as our culture wants us to. Our local farms exist by your graces. Our local farms reflect our climate and our biology and our culture. And these places remind us of where we are, and when we know where we are, we start to know who we are. The food is a medium for you to become attached to this place. And when you are attached to this place, you start to love the place. And you do things like become a member of the SBC. Or run for city council, or serve on the school board, or donate to nonprofits, or all the things I know just about 100% of you do here. We want our culture to live and thrive, and our place to remind us of who we are. We want our place to call out to our very best selves. We need local food. So that's why you should keep eating it. So I mentioned the carbon sequestration. Jenny asked me to mention, let you know that this is a carbon neutral event thanks to Clear Skies Climate Solutions. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to let Joni talk to you for a little bit. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for your 5 minutes.
Does anybody get the sense Josh is really loving Missoula? And now he gets to eat. And now he actually gets to sample the amazing food that we just had. Real quick, just a reminder about the silent auction. The silent auction will close between 8:15-ish and 8:20-ish, sometime around there. We'll give you a little bit of heads up, but if you're keeping an eye on a bid, make sure you get over there and do your bidding. A couple of other things, if you have noticed on the silent auction, there are spice tins from Silk Road. It's not exactly takeout, there is some work to be involved in it, but you can have food like this at your very own home. I probably could not, but most of you all probably could. Another thing on the silent auction are some guitar lessons. And I know we've been enjoying the beautiful music this evening from Mon Dieu. That, or after a couple of years, that would be awesome. But I'd like to introduce Nathan Zavalny, who is the gentleman who is in charge of this little group, and he's going to talk just a little bit about who they are, what they do, and why they do it.
Thank you. So I am the director of the Missoula Child Bloom Guitar Program. This is our 14th year of providing guitar lessons to young kids. We generally focus on the 5 to 12 age range, and I certainly cannot say I'm in charge of these two. These boys, Arthur and Duggan, these young men, have been studying guitar with me since they were both 6. And it's been about 12, 13 years now that I've had the pleasure of watching these guys grow from the 6-year-old boys just coming in not knowing anything about music to the capable, expressive young men that they are. So, yeah. It's quite an honor to have been part of their learning and growing process, and I certainly am just a part of it. They have a lot of great mentors. One thing I would like to say, just on the notes of sustainability, I think some of the biggest pieces of us moving towards a sustainable culture are going to be the young people, the next generations that are coming up, who they are as people, their character that drives the choices they make. And some of the factors that I see and the qualities that I see in these young men that are so important, the compassion, cooperation, the expression and appreciation of beauty that come from studying music, the self-motivation, and the discipline to be able to follow through on something that you see as a goal. I think those are all going to be the key elements of the next generations of adults coming up, making the choices that will help guide us towards being a more sustainable culture. So I'm just very honored every day to be teaching. I'm lucky to be teaching many children guitar and just seeing that kind of awareness grow from the artistry into being compassionate, cooperative human beings. And so just a couple things about these guys here. So they just this last year really decided to go pro in their playing. So one of the items in the silent auction is a private house concert with these guys. So you could have their music filling your home for a couple hours. So definitely if you have a dinner party or something coming up that you'd like to have some beautiful background music for, that's on the silent auction table, as well as a month of lessons, a starter pack with Child Bloom Guitar Program. So I really appreciate all of you and the SBC for all the work that's happening in this wonderful event and giving your ears to Arthur and Duggan. So thanks a lot, everybody.
Another reminder, silent auction, don't forget, put your bids in and get them in early, get them in often. Don't be shy, don't be shy. Speaking of monetary contributions, you'll see fans on your tables, because it was a little toasty earlier this evening. It's not as toasty now as it was. But on those are the opportunity to help the Sustainable Business Council continue its mission. And if you're at all interested in becoming a member, we would love to have more memberships. We would love to have more participation in the Sustainable Business Council. And if you make a contribution of $150 or more, and become a really big fan of the Sustainable Business Council, we're going to sweeten the deal with some honey. So take a good look at that. You might need some honey to take home with you, along with some spices and some cookbooks and some other things off of the silent auction. Speaking of memberships and contributions and people who are committed to the Sustainable Business Council, I will be remiss and I will miss all of the board members who are here, so rather than name them one by one, if you are here, would you please stand and take a round of applause, because it's these folks that make the Sustainable Business Council. And speaking of boards, our board president, Rod Austin, has been with the Sustainable Business Council for 3 years now, and Rod is going to present some Sustainable Business Council awards. So we have some esteemed award winners here this evening.
Thank you, Joni.
First, I have an unofficial award. Excuse me, check. Unofficial award, best food at a live event here for Silk Road Neighborhood Show. So we have 4 awards to give away tonight. These awards recognize excellence in sustainably minded individuals and organizations here in our community. The 4 categories, I'll go through those here in a sec, but a little bit of the fine print. Awardees were selected in 4 categories using a public nomination process. The selection criteria emphasized Missoula area entities, projects, or individuals that address all 3 aspects of sustainability: planet, people, and profit in their work. All right, up first, we have the Sustainable Advocate of the Year, and that award goes to Amy Sillenberg. Amy, come on up. So I'm going to read a little bit about Amy, and then I'll let her steal the mic from me. As the Director of the Conservation and Climate Policy for Montana Audubon, Amy Sillenberg has worked tirelessly in a number of roles to educate and inspire action around issues related to global climate change, energy, birds, and wildlife. Specifically, this award recognizes Sillenberg's leadership in 2 projects. First, she developed our city's Conservation and Climate Action Plan, which was approved unanimously by the City Council in 2013. Second, she brought together a broad network of community members for a series of climate summits to produce a community climate action plan. In addition to working closely with her co-chairs on these 2 projects, Ross Keogh and Jill Albin, respectively, Amy has exemplified a strong collaborative spirit, illustrating this important best practice in sustainability.
Thank you, Rod, and Jenny with SBC. I asked Jenny if I should give a speech, and she said no. You don't need a long speech from me, but I do want to I'm happy to accept this award, but the work that they just described, it's really this collaborative effort. I mean, people here tonight, Sherry Peacock, Jenny, Susan Anderson, Andrea, there's a number of people that have been involved both here and then in the larger community trying to get our city and community doing more in terms of global warming, mitigation, adaptation. There's a whole gamut of things. And so I really feel like I'm happy to accept this award on behalf of all of the people that have come together to help our community be leaders in this realm. And if there's folks, the SBC has been a key partner in this, and if there's folks from the business community who want to get more involved in kind of having our community lead, you can find me and we can help make that happen. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Amy. Congratulations. Up next is the Sustainable Nonprofit of the Year Award. And this award this year goes to Sussex School. Is Joellen here? I'll start reading while she makes her way up to the stage. Sussex School had a great entry. Sussex School is being recognized for excellence in education, or educating the next generation to be responsible stewards of the natural and social environment. The Sussex curriculum focuses on the natural world, addressing problems and issues through service work, field trips, and challenging outdoor activities. In addition, each grade is paired with a community organization to instill a service ethic. Students raise money, remove trash, weed, plant, and build trails, in addition to assisting with seniors and those who are hungry or homeless. The school's sustainability transportation plan includes a family residence map of bus lines, bike paths, and carpooling options for each student. The Sussex campus features 2 LEED certified classrooms, a garden, and employees that receive health insurance and retirement benefits. And here's Joellen Shannon to say a few words.
Thank you. We're so honored to receive this award. For 43 years, Sussex School has been inspiring students to become lifelong learners, as well as to have an appreciation and a respect for the natural world and the natural environment. And in addition to this work, we also help to build community through service learning opportunities. And we're also very proud of all those partnerships that we form in our community with our students. We also have 2 LEED certified buildings on our campus. And the students that come out of Sussex, as I've seen many faces here of graduates tonight, are exemplary students who are the next generation of learners. And our environment, our education, our school is helping to create these fantastic people who are going to be the next generation of innovative thinkers and stewards for our planet. So thanks so much. We're so honored to be here.
Great job, thank you. Don't forget your award, Joellen. Joellen. It's the most important part right there. Thank you. Okay, up next we have the Sustainable Business of the Year. This year's award goes to Upcycle. Donovan Peterson, come on down. There he is. All right, a little bit about upcycling. Upcycling is the creative reuse of refuse. Since opening his hip strip retail shop 4 years ago, Upcycled has helped over 100 upcycling artists market their products and grow their brands. All products sold in the store are made from at least 50% repurposed materials, and most products are made from 95% or more repurposed materials. All are produced locally by Montanans. Upcycled actively pursues the discovery and development of local upcycled talent. The retailer also produces a house brand of wallets, belts, and accessories that are sold in stores nationwide, all crafted from used bicycle inner tubes. These products divert thousands of bike tubes from western Montana landfills each year. And here with a little bit more about Upcycled is Donovan.
Hey guys, great to be here today. I was also told I wouldn't have to speak. So. You know, I have a lot of people come through the store who are on the hip strip, so we get a lot of out-of-towners come through all the time. And they ask me about Missoula, and I say, you know, Missoula is a town where we all have this delusion that we live in the coolest city in America. And because we have that delusion, we conspire to make it true. And it's events like this tonight, seeing you all here, all these great, engaged people. I'm totally honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, that one's for you. Thanks. All right, last but definitely not least, Sustainable New Venture of the Year. This year's award goes to the Missoula Hybrid Poplar Water Reclamation Project, aka MHPWRC. Is Star Sullivan here? The MHPWRP takes advantage of the nutrient processing abilities of poplar trees to further purify reclaimed water from the city's wastewater facility before discharging it into the Clark Fork River. This is an innovative multi-stakeholder effort coordinated by the City of Missoula in partnership with the Hybrid Energy Group, Watershed Consulting, the Klaus family, Morrison Merrill Inc., and others. Although it is a 16-year project, 2014 has been the bulk of the initial installation, including 120 acres of drip irrigation and the planting of 72,000 hybrid poplar trees, or 3/4 of total planned 96,000 trees. The project removes nutrients that would otherwise create ecological problems in the river. It also sequesters carbon from the atmosphere, produces marketable wood and energy products, and serves as a model for other projects. And here's a little bit more about that with Star.
I'm not sure I'm the right person to accept this award, because full disclosure is the fact that when this started many years ago, and there was a lot of people involved in it, Mark Vandermeer, Dr. Steve Running from the university really wanted to promote this. And being 35 years in the wastewater treatment, I like my wastewater treatment in a box. I like concrete tanks, I like pumps, I like UV systems, I like that. I thought land applications, it's so many variables to it, it was just really not the right thing to do. Anyway, guys like Bruce Bender, the CEO of the city, just believed in this thing. And as it moved forward, and we got connected with Tom Platt from Hybrid Energy Group and Mark Vandermeer and the Klaus family, Harvey and Mitzi Klaus. This whole thing came together. And another thing that happened was the DEQ changed the regulations. They made it much easier to do these kinds of projects. So if I were running for political office, I'd be called a flip-flopper or wishy-washy or something. But in the last 10 years or so, I have done a 180% change on this whole project, and I truly believe that this is one of the most important projects. It's not new. Land application isn't really new in the United States, but I think for Missoula, this is very important, and I think in the future this is going to lead to bigger, much bigger things. Thank you very much.
Well said. Thank you. Actually, can we have everyone involved in the project take a stand and a quick ovation for all those involved? Happy try. Thank you. Thank you, Star. And thanks to you all for attending tonight. Again, one more round of applause for all of our award winners tonight. Up next, Joni with more information.
I swear we're almost done. Because it's getting a little dark, isn't it? Yeah.
It's hard to read when it's dark.
It's really hard to read. And it's really hard to put in your bids on the silent auction. So we are doing last call for the silent auction. If you have something that you were dying to take home, scoot on over there, put your bids in, because we're going to give it about 5 more minutes. Dessert is being served as we speak. You will not want to miss that. There's coffee and apparently even more wine inside. So if you haven't got enough wine, please make sure you grab a little bit more. And thank you all so very much for coming. We'll be shutting down the silent auction in about 5 minutes. And then we'll be starting checkout about 8:30. It's going to take us a little bit of time to get stuff together. So enjoy your dessert, enjoy your wine, have a little coffee, and thank you so very much for coming.